Hello, I'm Cody, also known as Vion, and I'm here today with LenniePeach. Lennie is the cute hamster Kaigai Idol from Texas who's taking the idol world by storm. She's an amazing vocalist and released her first original song, Hamster, just a few months ago. First off, how are you today?
I'm pretty okay. I just got off some games with some friends, so now I'm just chilling.
Oh, real, that's so real. It's good to hear. Firstly, since you're a Kaigai Idol yourself, can you let us know what a Kaigai Idol is?
Kaigai idols are idols inspired by Japanese idols, so like AKB48 or like Hello Project, Morning Musume, those kind of style idols, or more like anime style idols who produce their music in the US. Usually it's either Japanese idol music or it's American or like English music, but it sounds like J-pop, and so it falls into that category still. A lot of them market themselves in a similar way to Japanese idols via like similar merchandise items or similar album marketing styles. Some do singing, some do dancing, some do both. It's kind of just whatever you make of it. It's become more of like a self-produced kind of thing. So some people take it pro, some people don't, but it's really an open-ended kind of thing.
Wow, that sounds really interesting. When did you realize that you have a career in music through being a Kaigai Idol?
I was rock and roll trained since I was 8 around, and then I started doing more musical theater stuff in middle school, but I realized pretty quick through middle school and high school that theater is really subjective, and the roles that you get is very dependent on your director and how they are. High school, I kind of dealt with a director who was kind of very judgmental, and so I realized, even though I might have the voice for it, a lot of directors were kind of judgmental about the body types and stuff. So eventually by senior year, I did get myself a director that was open to letting me get a lead role, and that kind of really opened me up to performing more. I've always performed, though. That's been a big part of my life, and anime's also been a huge part of my life, a part that I've been kind of ridiculed for a very long time. And so when I found out that I could safely do something like perform anime songs with a community that backs me instead of like chastising me for it, I realized that there's something here that would be more fulfilling for me, because my success being in the hands of others was really frustrating. So I realized that if the success is in my hands, there's a lot more that I can do between like making myself songs, finding myself gigs. And so I knew that being a Kaigai Idol was my best option because I love Japanese pop and I love the idol culture there. So I was like, oh wait, I can do that? Because it was around 2020 when a popular idol group, I'll give context, you probably already know, but I'll give context for the interview. A popular idol group called Sorbet went viral on TikTok for one of their members said something in Japanese, and people were questioning whether or not it was cultural appreciation or appropriation. And she eventually got bullied off of the internet for a bit, but she came back and really doubled down on it's appreciating a idol culture, and it's like it's a love piece to it. And so I decided that like that story was really inspirational for me, who'd been bullied a lot. So I was like, that's something that I could do and really be able to reclaim part of myself that I've been ashamed for. And so that's one of the main reasons I got into it, and that's how I kind of found out that Kaigai idling was like an actual thing that existed. So that's kind of how I realized that I had a career in it.
Both your story and Barry's are really inspiring, so I appreciate you sharing that. Back to your original song, though, how would you say your experience was working on it?
I had a lot of fun with it. I had the idea originally back in September of 2024, and I messaged my good friend Maeve DeVoe, who's also a Kaigai Idol, and I was like, hey, what if I made a really stupid song about like really finding yourself and called it like a punny name that went around a along with my concept. I was like, what if I called it, like, I don't know, Hamster, like, be your own star, pop star, but, like, it's not pop star, it's Hamster. And Maeve was like, that's been stuck, like, that little saying that you said has been stuck in my head for weeks. You have to make a song out of that. So I went to a commission website called VGen, and I looked up, like, music producers, because I've dabbled in producing my own music. I took music production in high school, but I don't feel like I'm to the level where, like, I could create my own song yet. I know, like, basics, like how to create, like, bridges, how to create choruses, but, like, I'm not to the point where I feel confident in it too much yet. So I found a guy named Karuru. He's really talented. He's done some work for some VTubers before, but never Kaigai Idols based on what I'd seen. And so I shot him a message, and I was like, hey, I really want to do a song. I want it to be uplifting, and I want it to sound like a few other songs. I sent some examples. Waku Waku Dreaming by Barry. I sent Starting Line by Alexis. I don't remember. I sent a few other ones, but I was like, I want this vibe of, like, uplifting Kaigai Idol music, and I want there to be a lot of sound bites from the 2007, 2008 Game Boy game, Ham Heartbreak, the Hamtaro game. And he was like, I'll see what I can do. And he came back with, like, the most perfect, like, it was one of those things where it was like, do you want any revisions? And I was given 2 free revisions with the commission, but I didn't need either of them, because, like, the first thing that he came back with, I was like, that's literally perfect. And so we took that, and then he also sent me kind of like a vocal sample of what he thought would sound cool. Not any lyrics, just like kind of like a humming melody. And I really liked what he came up with, so I tweaked it a little bit to kind of make it my own. And then I was stumped on the lyrics for months, because I realized I do a lot of lyric writing for other idols, but when it came to my own writing, I was like, well, shit, like, I don't know, like, because writing for others is like, well, what do I think that they want to say, right? But when it comes to writing my own lyrics, it's like, what do I want to say? And it kind of stumped me, because I was like, there's so much I want to say, but I have so little time to say it, and I also want to find a way to say it in a witty way. And so the first line of Hamster that I actually came up with was that trying to keep up just feels like running on a wheel, exhausting myself and getting nowhere. Because it is exhausting when you're trying to find yourself. You kind of run in circles, and it's like you're never really getting anywhere. And it reminded me of a hamster wheel, so I was like, I can make an analogy out of that. And then the rest of Hamster kind of just grew from that line. And then once I recorded the song, and Maeve did my mixing, Maeve did a great job. I recorded my song, I uploaded it to a distribution service, and I got it out. I really pushed hard on promoting it, and then I hosted in like an IRL pop-up event to celebrate the release. And then on the release day, I think we got to 300 total streams, which is really impressive, at least for this being my first original song. So the experience was great, I think. Well, I know it was great. I really enjoyed the experience of creating this song. It's probably my favorite thing that I've come up with so far.
Yeah, the song's really good. I think you, Karuru, and Maeve did a really, really good job. Back to career and music industry stuff and money. And would you say that having a career in music means making money off of your music?
So, personally, I love music. I don't see it as something that I want to make a living off of. It is really nice being able to make money off of it. I've made about $40 off Hamster just from it being used on Instagram, being streamed on Spotify. It's not like a holy crap amount, like that's a lot of money, but it's like it's more than I would have expected just from people like doing a silly dance on Instagram. So I think it honestly depends. I think for some people it means making money off of their music, if that's what they really want to put their mind towards. I'm kind of leaving my options open. I went to college for 2 semesters, and I kind of just took base classes. I really wanted a career in art, but I'm a little bit too scared to go down that path because it's not a solid career path right now with all the AI stuff coming up, which also threatens music a little bit. But I feel like in both, you can always tell what's human and what's not deep down. But I will say, I think it honestly just depends on the person. For me, music just means connecting with people. I don't really, the money is more just like the fact that I can make money doing something that I love, awesome, I'll take it. But it's not what it's about for me.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Is there any challenges that you face when it comes to working in the music industry?
A lot of misunderstanding, especially with being a Kaigai Idol, because it's such a new development in the music culture in America. Because I've dealt with this a little bit where I feel like my audience is a little bit confused sometimes. I'll get VTuber fans, and then I'll get indie music fans, and I'll get some like K-pop fans, and I find that a lot of the time the people who aren't really a part of the Kaigai Idol culture don't take the time to understand what it is unless they really want to get involved with it. And when you don't take the time to like really get what it is, it's easy to be judgmental towards it. And so like when I showed HAMST R to my mom, she loves it now, but at first she was like, "It's really cute. Is this a kid's song?" And I was like, well, it is childish. I'll give it that it is a childish song, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's intended for all ages. It's just meant to be cutesy, because that's just a big running gag, especially with Japanese idols, is a lot of the time concepts lean towards, there's tons of different genres, but a lot of concepts lean towards almost being childish at times. And so my whole life, I've kind of been ashamed to enjoy childish things because of how ridiculed I got for them. And so I'm kind of reclaiming enjoying that childish aspect of it, but those who don't take the time to understand Kaigai Idol culture often ridicule it as well. So I'm trying to really cater towards a very niche audience that I know is going to enjoy it, because I get more enjoyment out of that. I'd rather cater towards an audience that I know is going to enjoy my music than cater towards a general audience where I know I'm going to get weird comments about it, you know?
Yeah, that's completely fair. Another question about the whole money thing. How do you currently financially sustain your career? Have you gotten paid through HAMST R itself or other idol-related events? Do you need to find income through other means?
I have really supportive parents, and my dad put a loan onto me. So what it is he gave me $87 to make keychains, and I was like, okay. Because I have a very marketable character. I designed they call it idol sona. It's an idol persona, kinda. I designed her in a way that I could easily become her. Same hair color, same, like, just general complexion. She's basically me. But I designed her in a way that's also very marketable. So I gave her little hamster teeth, I gave her little hamster ears and a little sprout because she's a peach hamster. And so she was very easy to turn into keychains. So I paid about $87 for 20 keychains, which sounds like a lot, but considering the current state of the world and how hard it is to get things imported, that's not terrible. So I got keychains and I sold them for about $15 each. I gave my dad the 87 and I got to keep the rest of it. And then I've also sold CDs for HAMST R for about 15 each, and I've sold a quite good amount of those. I also do a lot of work related to idol stuff, but not directly involved in my music. So I do logo commissions for idols a lot, and I also do things like, I do make money off of HAMST R from just it being streamed sometimes. It's not a considerable amount. I recently got a job because I do want to have a way to financially support myself that isn't involved with actually, because I can't make enough money from CDs to support myself staying at a hotel for a convention I'm performing at. So I got a separate job to be able to support my hobby, which is something that I've done a lot of research on, and a lot of musicians do have to find second, third jobs, honestly, to support. Because music, you can do it for free, but it's also an expensive hobby if you want to really go pro at it. And I'm not saying I want to go pro, it's just I want to have nice stuff for it, because I have an at-home studio. I'm blessed to have a very musical family. My dad has a lot of connections in the music industry, like financially wise, so I can get a lot of like microphones and equipment for not too much. So I have a little nice at-home studio. So, but the things that I'm wanting to really like buy, like new merch things, or like a new VTuber model for streaming and really getting my music out there, those are the kind of things that I got a job to financially support. So that's my whole thing right now.
Yeah, I get that. Have you noticed external factors that have impacted the way you make money through music? If so, what are they, and how do they affect you and your music income?
The biggest external factor was probably the tariffs recently. I had a really hard time getting merchandise in when the tariffs were at their highest. They've gone down since then, and I've been able to restock on my keychains. But I was really struggling with, because it was right when Hamster was about to release that they got really bad, and I had wanted to order CDs, and I couldn't find them for a reasonable price anywhere. Like, I had the CDs burned, but it was hard to find like CD cases and CD flyers put inside of them to get at a reasonable price to print. And so I had to go through a lot of hoops. I ended up just buying my own cardstock, and I kind of had to cut everything by hand, which is really difficult because my motor skills aren't fabulous. But I figured it out, and I feel better because of it, because I feel like it does give it a more personal touch. But I absolutely think, not necessarily because of how I make money, but just how people view music, I think COVID absolutely destroyed our view of cringe culture. I think because we were all so enveloped on social media, the only way that we could judge people was through our phones. And so I think we decided to choose certain things to ridicule harder than other things to give us that entertainment. And I think that Kaigai Idols were definitely the spotlight of that ridiculing when Sorbet went so viral. And so I think that definitely negatively impacted our community. Sorbet did not negatively impact it at all. The people who responded to it did. I mean, there were some people who were upset that I could see why they would be upset, but at the same time, I feel like people went a little far with it, and I think that damaged people in a whole, because I have idols nowadays come up to me, they're like, I really want to do this, but I'm scared people are gonna cringe and like think it's weird, and I'm like, that's the whole point. The whole point is doing something that you want to do, not because people might think it's weird, but that's just because you want to do. So I think that impacted people wanting to do it more. It's less of like a money impact and more just like a social impact, I think.
Yeah, the COVID and the tariffs, they're like, COVID was really rough. The tariffs are pretty rough. I'm glad that they've gone down now, though. Is there anything you wish you knew earlier on in your career about monetizing yourself in the music industry or as an idol?
I took a marketing class in college, but that was after I'd started my kind of journey as an idol. I really wish I had really locked in on monetizing myself sooner. Not monetizing, but like really promoting myself sooner. I had promotion methods for my other songs, but I kind of just gave them away right away. I find that building momentum makes people more likely to come back. And so I've found ways to kind of tease things without fully giving them away. And it makes people more eager to want to keep checking your page, being like, is it out today? Is it out yet? Like, I think that's a huge part of marketing. And I wish I would have known sooner that I can find cooler ways to promote my stuff other than just one Instagram post, because now I know my way around the Instagram algorithm. I know how reels work. I know trending audios. I know how long should a reel be to really get on someone's page. What time should I post in a day to make sure as many of my followers see it? What percentage of my follower count is an active follower count? Because now like I can kind of navigate social media. I think I wish I would have known earlier how to navigate social media a little bit better, and also how to pace myself. I went through it was right after an idol showcase I was in called New Generation Idol Showcase. I got a good amount of followers because I emceed for that showcase, and I had a few people come my way and follow me, and I decided to really jump in at that point, and I started doing so many things. I wish I would have taken a step back and really focused on like 3 important things rather than jumping into like 7 things at a time. And so honestly, just pacing myself more and figuring out how social media works would probably have done me some good, but I think I caught back up pretty quick, so I think I'm on a good track right now.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I think you are on a great track right now. Where can we find you at to end this off?
Lennie.peach.idol on Instagram. I am about, I think it is 87 followers away from 1,000 followers, which is crazy. So that's my next big goal. You can find me on Spotify, LenniePeach. I've got HAMST R on there along with all my other covers. You can find me on X as Lennie.peach. The dot is important. There's another person named LenniePeach on Twitter for some reason, and they post some questionable stuff. I swear it's not me. And then I believe that's all. Yeah.
Alright, thank you for joining me today. Your story is so inspirational, and you're really a light in the community. I love what you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much.